Well, welcome to the program. We are going to be featuring some spring tonics called asparagus. We're going to do some roasted and some salads and a dip with it today. Chef?
Well, I think first of all, let's talk a little bit about the asparagus. This is fresh asparagus. It'll come into bundles like this. These bundles average about a pound each. And what to look for when you're looking for the fresh asparagus, you want a nice green color. There are actually three main varieties. There's a green, there's a purple, and then there's a white. Here in the U.S., primarily people use the green. The purple is available also. The white is more overseas in Europe, is very popular. And the white, what they do is they mound dirt up over the asparagus when they grow that and block off that sunlight, and that not able to get that chlorophyll into the asparagus, and it comes out a white color. But it's very popular there.
It's a delicacy.
Yes, and you may have to search a little to find it around here, and probably going to find it maybe canned as opposed to.
Canned is what I always see it on the market is in a canned variety. Expensive though.
Now, what you're looking for is, you want your asparagus to be reasonably uniform in size, and that's more for the cooking, because when you have a large or small, they're going to have obviously different cooking times. It should be firm. It shouldn't be real limp. It's got a nice tight head to it. It should be green at least 2/3 of the way down. This is quite a ways down. When you're storing the asparagus, store it standing up, an inch or so of water in the bottom. If you purchase it, go ahead and cut about 1/4 of an inch off of the bottom. You get that in case it's dried up on the bottom. Another way to store that is to take a paper towel, get it wet, wrap around the bottom, and put plastic wrap over the top of that. And that way you can lay it down in the refrigerator also.
Asparagus is like 90% water, so you need to really keep that moist to prevent it from drying out.
Yep. This doesn't take very long to cook, and the very end of it is usually pretty fibrous or tough, and there's a natural break in the asparagus, so if you go like this, right here is where this part is going to be very chewy, very woody. So, and just, you can snap it all this way, or you can take and just take a knife and do an approximate as well. And
it's one of those sounds of spring that I remember, the snapping of that.
Snapping of the asparagus. You shorten it up, but this is all very edible. We're going to clean up a couple bunches of this here and cook it off. Most people cook the asparagus, they steam it. This one here with the recipe, we're going to put it in a pan of boiling water with a little salt in there. So we have that ready to go. It's very good roasted also.
Asparagus is a nice low sodium vegetable. It's also a great source of folate. Most of the vitamins and minerals that you want in your diet are present in asparagus. So that's why it's often been called the spring tonic, because it was one of the first green leafy things that appeared from the earth. It's nice now we can get it year-round from all different countries and places in our world.
You can get this year-round, but if you're getting fresh grown asparagus out of the gardens, is still heads up better than the fresh. It's has more sugar in it, and that goes away shortly after it's harvested, and it gets more starches built up in it.
Asparagus is one of those vegetables when you are cooking that does seem to have a different aroma to it, and that aroma is coming from the sulfur compounds that are released.
And we're going to wash this off also. This gets a little bit of sand and grit in there, and we want to get that out. If you have a fairly large asparagus, you may want to trim the stalks a little bit down at the bottom. But I think this is all pretty decent, and we're just going to rinse it off real well. All right, now I have a pan of boiling salted water here, and I'm going to add the asparagus. You need a fairly good sized pan for this. And I'm going to put another pan over the top there to kind of steam that a little bit. This is going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to cook, and while that's going on, we're going to make the dressing for it because it's just a couple minutes for the dressing. All right, now the dressing for this is just a simple oil and citrus juice dressing. And to start with, we're going to take an orange and put on a little bit of orange zest. And I've just a zester, and we're just going to drag along the skin and get some of that outside layer. See that juice just splashing away here.
Yeah. Citrus oil is such a nice enhancer to flavor also, that it brings out the aroma, and it just also, the citrus oil will help in the dressing to, once we add the olive oil, to just seal that flavor into the dressing.
And we want a couple tablespoons, or actually a couple teaspoons of orange juice.
Asparagus is such a mild flavored vegetable that having citrus, lemon, olive oil is just going to help to enhance it.
And a teaspoon of lemon juice, and then some olive oil, a couple tablespoons. And then just a pinch of salt, or a little kosher salt in there, and a little fresh cracked pepper. Add a stir.
The olive oil is a good source of monounsaturated fats, and since the asparagus is a very low fat food, we're just having it as a nice enhanced dressing here.
Okay, the dressing is just that simple, and we're going to check the asparagus in a minute here, see how it's doing, and when it's ready, we will put the dressing on it, and we have some toasted hazelnuts that we've chopped up, and we'll sprinkle that over the top. All right, let's check the asparagus now. Looks like it's doing just fine. I think we'll go ahead and take that off.
That looks just like spring, fresh and green.
Certainly a quick dish. I add that dressing over the top. And it's so much lighter than a butter sauce or a hollandaise sauce, which is pretty much a classic for the asparagus. And we have some toasted chopped hazelnuts.
Hazelnuts were also known as filberts. They've changed their name on us. Hazelnut sounds better, I guess. Filberts are one of those classic nuts that have been seen at the holidays. We also use them as a monounsaturated source of fat.
And there we have it. We have fresh asparagus with an orange dressing and toasted hazelnuts. Next, we're going to do some garlic pita chips, and we're going to bake these off and put those together with a follow-in recipe, which is an asparagus guacamole, which will be an excellent combination. So to start with, we have some pita bread, and in this bowl I have 2 egg whites, and we're going to add some garlic and some other ingredients to that. So we'll start with 1/4 cup of olive oil, and a little bit of the garlic, 3 cloves of garlic, and just a little bit of kosher salt, chopped parsley, about 1/2 cup, I want to mix these eggs up a little bit first. And we'll add the parsley. And the pita bread, be sure you get the one with a pocket in it as opposed to the foldovers. You want to take and cut that into quarters. And just separate it apart, and you get these nice size pieces. You could also cut this into the little smaller pieces if you want to. And on your tray, either if you put a little parchment paper on there or a little pan spray. And you're taking the chips and you're taking the outside part, dipping that down, dragging it across the egg mixture. And we're going to take and put these in the oven and bake them off. And we'll put you can put a little kosher salt on them, or maybe if you want to put a little Parmesan cheese on there would be good. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and put these in the oven and bake that. That egg will dry out and it'll crunch up a little bit. I think we'll just add a little bit of the kosher salt on there. We'll come back and check that in about 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and start setting up to do our asparagus guacamole, which is kind of an interesting dish.
Our next featured recipe is an asparagus guacamole. We often think of guacamole made with avocados and people go, ugh. So we're going to use the asparagus in place of the avocados. It does reduce the fat content significantly. We're going to use a light sour cream also as its base. So we're going to see the fresh asparagus in works.
All right, so I have some asparagus on the stove here. Okay, the asparagus is ready to go. We're going to take that off the stove, drain it off. We should have about 2 cups of asparagus here, and we're going to cut it up into smaller pieces. And it's going to go into the food processor. We want to add a little lemon juice. About 2½ teaspoons. Some onion. Three tablespoons of that. 1 tomato. A little bit of salt, 3/4 teaspoon. I have some chili powder and ground cumin here, half a teaspoon of each. We add a little fresh black pepper. Clove of garlic. Dash of Tabasco. And 1/3 of a cup of light sour cream. Okay, you want to process till it's nice and smooth. I'm going to scrape it down a little bit. Smells great. Okay, I think we'll check the chips. Those should be ready to go, and we'll put those chips around the outside. Okay, the chips are nice and brown. They get a little crunch to them now. You can take these and let them cool down, store them several days in a closed container. We're going to put some around the outside here.
Between the asparagus and the garlic pita chips, this would be an excellent after-school snack for kids. Great way of getting some vegetables in them, and they would not even know they were eating asparagus.
And here we have the asparagus guacamole with the garlic pita chips.